Hi, everyone. Welcome to the housing market. It's going to be on LinkedIn every Monday around this time. We're kicking it off. I'm Jennifer Zoeller, the Red Shoe Realtor with the JML team at Realty Execs. We're going to talk about how's the market been in the last week, what we're seeing locally, some national news, and then also what reports are going to be coming out in the next month that are going to affect maybe our housing market. So let's dig in. I want to start with what did our weekend look like? Generally, houses go live, the majority of them between maybe Wednesday and Saturday. And so how did it look for Michelle and I when we were in the market? We have at least 10 highly qualified buyers looking. So we have a really good base of people looking. But for our buyers, of the 10 buyers, only one home came on that any of our buyers wanted to see in that amount of time. So there really is a dearth of inventory. There's not enough inventory on the market right now, at least for the type of buyers that we're working with. I would say our buyers are either first or second time buyers. They are well qualified. They are probably looking anywhere from like 3 to 750. So no super high, no super low. But of those buyers, we only found one house to see. So the house that we did look at, we did put an offer in, but again, it was a home that was in really nice condition, and because of that, it's getting multiple offers. We're really moving back into multiple offers for homes. Here's the qualifier for homes that are in really good condition, and in maybe in suburban areas and urban that are in nice condition, kind of in that sweet spot, maybe of that 300 to 700, multiple offers. The place that we put an offer in, they had extended days, so went live on Thursday. They're not looking at offers till today. In our offer, we wrote above, and we included some sweeteners of contingencies. We added some, a little bit of an appraisal contingency, so we'll offer some money to cover it. We did on the inspection that we won't ask for anything over, a couple $1,000s for every single item. So we are really trying to, make a nice deal. We haven't found out yet if we got it or not. We're hoping. I'll let you know. But it's really an indication of the market that if you come on and your home is in perfect condition and kind of in that sweet spot in areas that people are looking, you're probably going to get an offer pretty quick. You may get multiple offers. And so it's really kind of what we're seeing here is, I would say, not enough inventory, really. Buyers are kind of coming back in. I feel like toward the end of last year, they kind of slowed down as rates kind of bumped up to 7. And so now what are rates doing? About a week ago, rates were actually hovering around the 6s. And then Fed came out, they raised it 2.5 to 5. But it really hasn't, we're still seeing a lot of our buyers, we're sending them over to our lenders for mortgage applications. So the increased bump, that 0.25 has really not stopped anybody. And of course, it's about still a point lower than the highs that we saw maybe starting 6 months ago. Let's see. So why is there, low inventory? I think there's a couple of reasons there's low inventory. One, a lot of the homeowners have good mortgage rates, so they don't want to have to go back into the market, get a rate that's higher. Secondly, even if they do want to buy, they are questioning, will I be able to find the home I want? And so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. There's not a lot of inventory, and then so potential sellers aren't listing their home because they don't know if they're going to get their home, and they also don't want to go to a higher rate. That's kind of leading to what we're been calling hotel mom and dad. There is still right now 15% of, I forgot the exact age, but basically 15% of people out of college are living in their parents' house, hotel mom and dad. That's down actually from last year, which was 17.8%, which was a high. For some historical references, what does that mean? Between 1960 to 1980, it was, I have to look, it was below 10%. So 1960 to 1980, everybody's getting out of the house, less than 10% were living at home. Between 1990s, it was 10 to 12%. So it's starting to creep up a little bit then. So there was a little bit more people, moving back into hotel mom and dad. Then since 2008, it's been steadily increasing. So that's, as after the mortgage or the home crash in 2008, it's just been steadily increasing the number of people. Till last year, we were in the point that over 1 in 6% of older, children were living with their parents, but we're kind of starting to creep down. We're going to have an upcoming podcast to give you parents some idea who want your kids out. You're done with hotel mom and dad and you want to get your kids out. In 2 weeks, we're going to have a podcast to give you some ideas like how can you help them get out of your house. So kind of as we talked about earlier, the rates kind of are hovering around 6.2 right now. And the Fed has kind of given the indication that they're going to keep increasing the rates, but we'll have to see. The reason they're doing that, I think, is with the great, really almost unbelievable jobs market. They're trying to get that fine-tuned point so the economy stabilizes, so rates might go up a little bit. So because of that, and kind of tying all these things together, rates have come down a little bit. There's a dearth of, not enough maybe inventory. We are seeing that prices are remaining stable. For a while last year, people were thinking, the prices jumped up, the rates jumped up to 7%, that we might see housing rates drop or housing prices drop. But really what we've seen is they're kind of remaining pretty stable, honestly. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming months. We'll keep you up to date. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit of some interesting national news right here. Select B. 1 second. Multiple view. Oh, come on. There we go. Come on. All right, so what I wanted to talk about is in New York City, it's showing that the rates, there we go. We'll take a minute. First show, next week will be smoother. Remote working is costing Manhattan more than $12.8 billion. Holy cow. And it's kind of, I guess, not surprising, though, because if you think about people not going into Manhattan, like the trickle down, where does that dollar? Okay, so first of all, there's less, rents in some of the in the buildings. There's less transportation to get to work. There's not people working at work. Eating at work. There's not people working away. That might be true too, but there's not people working at work. Eating. There's not people eating at work. They're probably, if they're, in work, they're more likely to stop in the shop and buy something, retail-wise. So $12.8 billion. And think about the tax impact that's having on New York City when they have that much less money come in. One thing that's kind of interesting here is if you look at this, the rates. So you see that the occupancy rates are kind of going up now. They are going up, some buildings even up to 70%. But look at those Fridays and Mondays are always the least. And if it's around 70%, that means 3 in 10 less people are in those buildings. 3 in 10 less people are spending money on transportation, 3 in 10 less on food, other retail. So you can see why New York City has lost $12.8 billion. Holy cow. And, you wonder how is that affecting cities like Milwaukee? We have a lot of office buildings down there. And how is that affecting transportation, the rental income, the lunch income? So I haven't seen a number on that, but it's got to be some smaller number of like New York City that kind of is impacting Milwaukee and our taxes and all things like that. So I wanted to dive in, where the 262, we would focus on the 262, so all the Milwaukee suburbs. So I thought each week we would kind of do a little spotlight. So today we were going to spotlight Mequon and Cedarburg. And I wanted to get an idea of what is the housing market like? It feels to me like we have less homes on the market, but is that true? So we pulled some stats here. And I wanted to share them with you. Let's see. Okay, so these 3 columns here represent, the first column is this year, the last week, how many homes there was listings. So you can see there's 5 listings. There we go. There's 5 listings in Mequon Cedarburg. the highest being 650 and the lowest being around 350. The next two columns are what happened in Mecklenburg last year. As you can see, there was 5 new listings that week last year. And the other interesting thing is the prices were much higher. There was 9 of the 12 were above the highest one currently. So currently the highest one is 650. Last year, 9 of the 12 homes that went live were above 650. So that's kind of interesting too. So there definitely is, I mean, especially on the higher end, there's definitely, it's interesting. So if you think about it, on the higher end, like maybe 4 to above, there's less homes. But then also in the lower end, in that middle range, it's a little bit more of those than last year. So I think what's happening is some of those people, the high-end people last year, they were going to hop on the hot market. They got their houses out there. This year, people are a little bit more uncertain in the higher range, so they don't want to get into the market right away because they're worried that maybe there won't be a buyer at their rate. They might be worried that they can't find the house again, because if you're already high-end, you're likely, even if you're downsizing, you're going to a nicer home. You're probably going to, let's say you're $1 million home, you're downsizing, you're still probably going likely above 600, and there's really not that many of those homes. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to kind of show you what you can expect in the upcoming week. What kind of news are we going to get, and how's it going to impact the market? So today, the Fed is going to do coming out with 1-year and 5-year inflation expectations. I think that'll be really interesting to see what the Fed decides to do then with interest rates. So that's coming out today. And then tomorrow, small business core index. On Wednesday, we're going to see the home builders index. One of the things about having less inventory is we'll see how the home building index is. Maybe we'll start getting more new homes built to start filling that lack of available homes. What's going to take to loosen up this tight availability? And then on Thursday, jobless claims, building starts. Again, last week for the prior, I think it was month, the jobless rate was 3.6, lowest. I forgot, I think it was since 1980, some insane amount of time. So we'll see what the jobless claims are for the week on Thursday. And then on Friday, we're just going to get an overall, the leading indicators for the market. So that should be interesting to see, because you know how it all ties together with the housing market. So let's see, I think that's it for this week. So to recap, summary of what Michelle and I saw this weekend, we have 10 qualified buyers, and if you think about what was available, in Mecklenburg this week, where a lot of our buyers are, there are a lot of them are in that 4 to 7, and there's just not as much coming on compared to last year. We put in one offer, there was multiple offers, we gave some contingencies, gave an appraisal benefit, we gave an inspection benefit. We'll let you know what happens. We're still seeing a tight seller's market. Hotel mom and dad has decreased just a little bit, about 1.5 points down to 15.8. And what else? Oh, New York City lost 12.8 billion. Manhattan, not even New York City, Manhattan lost 12.8. And then we have a couple indicators coming out this week. So if you have any questions, or if you'd like to know what's going on in your city, reach out to the Red Shoe Realtor, Jennifer, with the Zoeller team at JML team at Realty Execs. Have a great week, and we will see you next Monday.